Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Sichos HaRan shir. Tonight, we're going to be doing Sicha number 76. So this Sicha is going to teach us the method that Rebbe Nachman wanted his students to learn Torah with. Rebbe Nachman knew how much ground there was to cover in Torah and, how difficult it could be to see everything and to do everything. And he wanted his Talmidim to study Torah quickly, to get through things, to keep on going. And, he didn't want his students to get overwhelmed or get stuck and give up. So we'll learn this piece more in depth. Let's dive in. We're going to do Sicha number 76. Okay, sorry. Wrong share screen. Okay, here we go, 76. Okay. We heard that the Rebbe once said he studied all 4 sections of the Shulchan Aruch 3 times. The first time he understood its simple meaning. The second time he was able to trace the Talmudic source of each law. The third time he understood the Kabbalistic significance of each law and its relationship to the transcendental worlds. From the way it was told, we understood that the Rebbe did this in his youth. We knew that he later reviewed the Shulchan Aruch many times. So Rebbe Nachman is telling over what Rebbe Nachman said about himself when he was young. Rebbe Nachman said that he finished Shulchan Aruch 3 separate times, right? The first time, he just went through it. He learned it simply. The second time, he was already connecting it to the Talmudic sources and seeing where it was coming from. And the third time, he took it much deeper to this and he had this Kabbalistic approach to it. So this is how he learned it, and this is how he was teaching his Hasidim to learn. This was the Rebbe's way. He literally drank in knowledge. This was true even toward the end of his life when he suffered greatly from tuberculosis. He was very involved with the congregation. He spent hours with us, offering us advice and teaching us how to approach God. His mind may have been constantly soaring in the highest ethereal realms. Still, he would spend considerable time each day in simple study. So this is how Rebbe Nachman learned, right? This is how he taught his Hasidim. His head might have been in these high, crazy worlds, but still he just studied simply. He wanted to study simply. And we're getting to a great line, in my opinion. With all this, the Rebbe was never pressed for time. He was always calm and relaxed. It is absolutely impossible to describe his unique serenity. Because of it, he had time for all things. Mind-blowing. So with everything the Rebbe did, with everything that he accomplished, and mind you, he died at 38, there was no lachats, there was no pressure. He was calm, he was clear, and because of that, he had time for everything. Isn't that incredible? How many people do we know that they rush to nothing, But look, if you see this, Rebbe Nachman, he was calm and clear, and he managed to accomplish so much because he was calm and clear, and because he had this unique serenity. So, my husband, who's a therapist, he often tells people that by having a lot of things on your mind, it's much harder to accomplish, and it's much harder to learn and to understand. We kind of shut down as we have all this thinking on our heads. By going into something with a clear and open mind, a person is able to accomplish much more. So, I see it to be so true, because in the mornings when I go into work and I have 1,000 personal things on my head and 1,000 work-related things on my head, it's so much harder to accomplish. There's this heaviness that's on me. And heaviness is really the right term, because it's heavy and I'm sluggish and I don't accomplish as much, as opposed to the days where I still might have 1,000 things to do, but just when I have this calm, clear mind, I could just strike through everything, soar through everything, and accomplish. So, so here Rebbe Nachman's telling us, right? Be calm, just focus on the step ahead of you. Don't have too much on your minds, and you can accomplish plenty, right? There's this famous quote from Eleanor Roosevelt that goes something like this. It goes, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift. And that's why it's called the present, right? Like if we focus on just what we have to do now and not get caught up with everything else that's going on, then that's it. Then there's just, you could do everything. And I love this, like today is a gift. It's called the present. It's a gift. Like just take advantage of what you could. Okay, so back into the piece. The Rebbe always studied quickly. In a single hour, he could go through several pages of the Shulchan Aruch, including all its major commentaries. On a page of Orach Chaim, he would include the Taz, the Magin Avram, the Ber HaGola, the Pri Chadash, and the Ateret Zakanim. He would study their counterparts in other sections of the Shulchan Aruch. He once told us that in the morning, between the time the congregation began to assemble and the time they began worshiping, he would go through at least 4 pages of the Shulchan Aruch. This was true of everything the Rebbe studied, whether it was the Talmud or the codes. The Rebbe literally flew through the pages. So we also see from this the speed that Rebbe Nachman went through everything. And, you know, he's saying here that between the time the minyan began to come and the time that they actually began to daven, Rebbe Nachman got through 4 pages of Shulchan Aruch. So you can see through this, not just how quick he went through everything, but just that hopping, like a few minutes here, grabbing a few minutes here, taking a few minutes there, like you can accomplish so much. You know, like if we're standing online, waiting for a doctor's appointment, you know, instead of staring at our phone, maybe bring it to Hillam or a Sefer. And you could accomplish so much that way. You could just soar through things. Many times the Rebbe told us that it is best to study subjects rapidly and not to spend time on each detail. Study with speed and simplicity. Understand each thing in its own context and do not confuse yourself with its relation to other subjects. If you do not understand a concept, do not spend too much time on it. Go further, and in most cases, you will eventually comprehend the first thing as well. So Rebbe Nachman saying, learn quickly. Don't get stuck. Don't spend too much time on something you don't understand. By the second or third round, you'll get it. The Rebbe said that when you study, you need only read the words aloud and in order. Then you will automatically understand. Do not confuse yourself by trying to understand everything at once. You will have much difficulty and end up understanding nothing. Concentrate on what you are studying. Read the words in order and with enthusiasm. Understanding will come of itself. What you do not understand at first, you will comprehend later. Even if there are things you never understand, the quantity outweighs all else. The Talmud teaches, learn everything and then seek understanding. So Rebbe Nachman is saying that if a person concentrates and he tries to learn simply and with enthusiasm, chances are they'll get it. And if she doesn't, Rebbe Nachman says the quantity of what you're learning is very valuable, even if conceptually you're not holding by it. He's saying like a person has to just read the words, even if he doesn't understand them. You know, and he's telling us here, trying to make all these deep connections when you're first diving into the piece, it's just going to confuse you. Just learn simply, you know, just learn each thing in its own context. By the second or the third round, you'll get it. Don't worry. You know, we've all heard stories about people breaking their teeth on Torah study. And it, you know, it's a very special thing. And Rebbe Nachman saying, break your teeth on just reading the words, just reading them simply, just trying to understand literally what it's saying at that point, not by trying to make it connect to this or connect to that. You know, he's basically saying, learn on your level. Don't try to be deeper or wiser or smarter than you are. Don't overcomplicate things. Just simply learn with enthusiasm. Back to the piece. You must read the words even if you do not understand them completely. It is written, my soul broke through with desire, from Tehillim. The Talmud comments that the surface must be broken, but the depths need not be explored. One need only read the words, and even if he does not understand fully. So again, just focus on the words. Hashem's going to reveal to you whatever he'll reveal to you at the right time. Just put in the effort and focus on the simplicity of the words. When you study quickly, you will absorb a great deal. You will be able to review each volume many times. What you not understand at first will appear simple the second or third time. You will eventually understand all that you can. So again, Rebbe Nachman's encouraging his Talmidim to learn quickly. Just get through it. You might not understand things the first time, maybe not the second time, but maybe not the third, but eventually you'll understand. Just keep on going. Don't get frustrated. Keep on going. The Rebbe spoke about this so often that everything cannot be recorded. But what we have quoted here is excellent advice. Follow this path and you'll complete many volumes. You will have a better understanding than one who tries to comprehend everything the first time. A person who's overly meticulous can become very confused. Often he will abandon his studies and completely end up with nothing. So by, breaking your teeth just to get, let's say, to these Kabbalistic levels, or to try to see the depth in everything when you're just going through it, Rebbe Nachman's not recommending that. He's saying that leads to frustration, that leads to people getting very confused, and that leads to people giving up, which we know Rebbe Nachman did not want anyone to do. So again, he's just saying, just learn it simply. Just learn on your own level. Accustom yourself to learn quickly without too much attention to detail. You will then be worthy of learning in quantity. You'll be able to complete the Talmud, the codes, the Bible, the Midrash, the mystical books of the Zohar, the Kabbalah, and all other sacred works. We've already mentioned that it is good for a person to complete all books concerning the Torah in his lifetime. See his wisdom. The Rebbe once reckoned all that a person must study each day if he has the time. So Rebbe Nachman is now talking about the quantity. Just get through everything. Again, just go through everything. And he's saying that, this is relating to actually another piece in Sichos HaRan, where he compares learning all the different parts of Torah to traveling the world and seeing all these different parts of the world, and it's going to come and help you in the future. The Rebbe once reckoned all that a person must study each day if he has the time. You should study enough each day so that at the end of the year you will have completed the entire Talmud with the Rif and the Rosh and the 4 sections of the Shulchan Aruch, all the Midrashim, all the books of the Zohar, Tikkunei Zohar and Zohar Chadash, and all the Kabbalistic writings of the Ari. So Rebbe Nachman had a tall order that he wanted his Hasidim to learn. Besides this, you should spend some time each day studying in depth. You should also save the Psalms each day, as well as many additional prayers. Even all this does not exhaust the Rebbe's list. At that time, the Rebbe also spoke at length, telling us to study quickly and eagerly, without confusion or over attention to detail. So Rebbe Nachman gave a very vast list of all these things he wanted his Hasidim to do, and still he was saying, but make sure to concentrate on your tefillos, and let's just take it. And he was saying all these things, and again, if we took that part in the beginning where he wasn't stressed about it, it wasn't a pressure, it was just go with an open mind and just focus on what you need to and go through things quickly and don't get confused. The Rebbe also told us not to review each thing immediately. He advised us to complete each volume as rapidly as possible from beginning to end, and then to review the entire work as a whole. The Rebbe also told us not to be anxious if we cannot complete everything he suggested each day. One can be a religious Jew even without that much study. He also said that one can be a tzaddik even without being a very profound scholar. Deep perception can be attained only with Talmudic scholarship, but even the simplest Jew can be righteous. It is not incumbent on you to complete the work, but neither are you free to desist from it. Okay. So Rebbe Nachman gave a very tall order of what he wanted his Hasidim to work on and to learn and to daven. But even with that, in the end, he's telling his Hasidim, just try your best. You could still be a tzaddik, even if you can't get through all this stuff. Never give up. You have, and I love this quote in the end from, I guess, Pirkei Avos. It is not incumbent on you to complete the work, but neither are you free to desist from it. So you might never be able to complete all of this. It's a lot, but you always have to try. You always have to keep on going for it. It's interesting to note that this Sicha is very similar to the prayer Sichas that we did a few weeks ago, the Sichas on Tefillah. Rebbe Nachman says there too, you might not have any enthusiasm in your prayers. You might feel like you're not connecting, but don't give up. Still keep at it. Still keep going at it. Approach Tefillah simply, just like he's saying with the Torah learning. Approach it simply. Don't get confused. Don't try to make it deeper than it's deep and learn above your level. Just approach it simply with enthusiasm. And he says the same thing about tefillah. Just listen to yourself saying the words. Just listen to the meaning of the words and try to dive in with enthusiasm. It's a recurring theme with Breslov Torahs, just to be simple, to try to learn things and dive in things simply. Sorry, I wish I had better words to describe what I'm trying to say, but I think Rebbe Nachman's trying to say not to get ahead of yourself, not to overcomplicate. Just try your best in the moment that you are in. Approach the task at hand with the best foot forward, and again, like what's in the past is in the past. We can't change, right? And the future, we don't know. But the present is here now. And it's just about taking advantage of it at this moment and really trying to just simply focus on what we need to do in the moment. So again, like I said before, Rebbe Nachman accomplished so much in his life, and he died when he was only 38. And each thing he did, he was clear-minded, and he had no worries. And I think as human beings, we all get so blocked from these innocent mistakes of stress and worrying and trying to accomplish and getting way, way in over our heads. So I just wanted to also bring in this, like a short, it's actually from the Lekutey Maharan Torah, that really hits home with just focusing on the now and today. I'm just going to pull up the share screen. Okay. Okay. So it's Lekutey Maharan, the first one, Torah number 272. It is a cardinal rule in the service of God that a person should look only at the day in which he presently stands. This applies to his approach to obtaining a livelihood and his material needs, whereby he must not think from one day to the next, as is taught in the Holy Literature. And it also applies to his service of God, whereby he must look only at the present day and the present hour alone. Right? So a person only needs to look at what is directly in front of him, whether it be with material things or spiritual things. We need to focus on what's happening right now and what needs to be done right now. The reason is that when a person wishes to enter the service of God, it seems to him as if it is a heavy burden, and as if it's impossible for him to bear such a weighty load. We're over here. But if he thinks that he is only today, it will not be burdensome for him at all. Right? So when we think about, again, all we need to accomplish spiritually, physically, with our families, with our friends, with our communities. It could be a little much. It could get very, very overwhelming. But Rebbe Nachman's telling us, just focus on the now. If you think only about today, you won't be overwhelmed. Furthermore, a person should never procrastinate from one day to the next, saying, tomorrow I will begin, tomorrow I will pray with concentration and feeling and with the right enthusiasm or the like. For a person has nothing in his world except the present day and the present hour in which he is now standing. Tomorrow is a different world entirely. This is the explanation of the verse. Today, if you heed his voice, from Tehillim, specifically today. So again, Rebbe Nachman's also reminding us not to procrastinate, because all we have is the now. That's it. Nothing exists beyond that. Just what's right here, right now. So, I really believe that this mentality will help each person accomplish so much more. It will also probably add years onto everybody's life, right? Not to be stressed about what happened yesterday, what's going to happen tomorrow. Just, this is it, right now, right here. So I just want to end with a bracha for everybody that, we should learn lots of Torah and understand it too, and really live without so many complications, and just really try to live in the moment and feel happiness in the moment. So thank you everybody for listening and for tuning in, and have a wonderful night.